Before I begin the video and inevitably make some people sad, I want to say this. I genuinely enjoy Kirby 64. I won't be saying a lot of nice things about it today. Kind of wanted to try something different and complain about a Kirby game for once. So if you need some convincing that I do, in fact, really like Kirby 64, I will direct you towards the video I made for it during 2020's Kirby month, where I ranked every Kirby game except for Fighters 2. It wasn't out yet. Sorry. You can watch that video by clicking on the screen somewhere. And I've spent too much time on the intro to try and convince you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. So do those things, please. They help me out and they make me really happy. Video. When I think of some of my favorite aesthetics on the Nintendo 64, my thoughts always rush to Kirby 64. The game is so visually appealing with its bright colors, inviting you in to explore the various worlds that you travel to, hiding something very sinister underneath those cheery appearances. Right now, I'm sure anybody who's played Kirby 64 is thinking of an area, or a boss fight, or this very angry Waddle Dee, because they're all completely out of left field in how frightening they are. But no, the oh-so-sinister scheme that Kirby 64 hides behind its cheery visuals and excellent music is acquiring the crystal shards. To give the game some credit, I don't hate getting every crystal shard. Occasionally, they're hidden in well places, or require solving a pretty fun puzzle in order to get. A surprising amount of them are in plain sight, too. Not behind a puzzle or anything. You just grab it, you beat a pitifully easy mini-boss, etc. These I don't like very much, but the why of why I don't like them is really easy to understand. They're just lying there. Getting to them, it's not fun or anything. You just run up to it, you jump because the devs were feeling real dicey there, and getting the shard. Lame! But what kills getting the crystal shards in Kirby 64, ironically, is the one element that makes the game stand out the most: ability mixing. In a standard Kirby game, I am all about needing to constantly change abilities in order to get all the collectibles in each of the games. Replacing your current ability with another is easy, seamless, and fast. In Kirby 64, because of the way you combine abilities, it's never as easy as simply getting the ability you want and going from there. Some ability combinations you'll need for a crystal shard aren't even in the level itself, so you have to get it from another level. Come back and hold on to it until you get far enough in the level. The obvious problem here is that if you don't like an ability combination, having to hold on to it for a while is really frustrating. The game being slower than my upload schedule in July is rough enough, but then you get to the levels that require bad combinations. I can't stand combinations like the dynamite, just to name one offhand, but inevitably everyone is gonna have at least one that they really don't like, whether it's the dynamite or not. If you're lucky, you'll only need to hold on to it for a few seconds before finding the blocked off shard, but if you're not that lucky, we'll get to that example in a bit. All that this whole thing really does is stifle creativity. You want to use your favorite combinations, or you want to experiment with others, but the game is always forcing you to change them, and especially later on, leave entire levels and come back with the right combination. Sometimes it'll make you do it twice. Most Kirby games at least give you the tools that you need to get collectibles in the level itself, making the challenge. Kirby fans going deep. At this point, I'm sure at least one of you watching is waiting for me to bring up, well, I already have in the comments, thanks for helping the video gain traction, you're a true friend, the fact that the crystal shards are entirely optional. You don't have to get them, you can just sail through the game, only collecting the ones that you feel like getting, and ending it there. And that's true, I guess, but there are some problems here. I mean, in my book, if the game is going to put things in it for me to get, I'm going to want to get the things that the game is telling me to get. Especially for a game like Kirby, where collectibles are a big deal and are typically handled very, very well, I just kind of instinctively go out of my way to get them. I get that not everybody plays games to fully 100% them, even Kirby games, but this leads rather nicely into the next issue, and one that's a lot less, personal. The game is much more about showing off its world with dynamic camera angles, colorful, lived-in environments, and great music than it is about making the levels themselves interesting. Levels aren't bad for the most part, but without hunting for the shards, many of them just aren't very engaging. The problem is that the way levels often challenge the player is by making them go through a large portion of the level with a specific ability combination. Case in point, level 4 of Neostar inside this volcano. See this here? You need fire and ice to get this. Yes, the melting ice cube that nobody likes. I mean, I like it, but I am far too deep into this destructive hole of endless irony. And to make matters worse, what about this suggests to you that you need fire and ice to get the shard? This specifically is really bad visual design. Anyway, we're not complaining about visuals here. What this means is that the first time through the level, you reach this part and can't get the crystal shard because you probably didn't know to take the melting ice cube. Whatever, maybe you have to come back anyway because you missed the first shard, third, whatever. You finish the level, get the right ability combination somewhere else, or at the very least you get ice because you can get fire in this level. Give it that. And then go back, play catch up, get the shard, finish the level. Again! This would be bad enough if this was the only level that did this, but practically every single level in the game has at least one crystal shard that's like this, and it makes getting all of them a massive chore. What's funny though is that the game that came directly before this, Dreamland 3, handles this a lot better. Getting the heart stars is infinitely better than getting the crystal shards, and even in the worst cases, thanks mostly to being less cryptic and consistent between worlds. And even the ones that require a specific ability or a specific animal friend are much better due to them being a lot rarer, and of course the levels themselves actually being built around the idea that you need the animal friend to clear it or whatever. I also prefer the final boss of Dreamland 3, but I mean, that one's on me. My point is, playing through Kirby 64 is fine. The levels aren't bad, but they are uninteresting from a gameplay perspective, and while the game tries to remedy this with the crystal shards, their implementation was, overall, really bad. This is entirely because of the ones with a specific ability combination being required to get them. There's just way too many, and it's kind of a shame because other Kirby games, even the one that came right before this, did it so much better. That's it? We're done? Oh, finally. Complaining about Kirby games is so hard.